answer is yes. So as my friend told, we should consider three aspects of the screening programs. First of all is related to disease. The disease should be serious. If the disease is not serious, so as we have budget restrictions and we have budget limitations, it's not cost effective, it's not cost benefit for us to screen simple diseases. So we run screening programs, in where we have serious diseases. Yes. So the next point is serious. Another point is high prevalence of preclinical stage, because in screening, as I told in second class, if you can consider, if you can review our second class, when Sohail came here and explained for us about levels of prevention, he told that for secondary prevention, we are going to assess screening and treatment. We pointed that screening is a secondary prevention. So, as we are going to run a screening program, because it's a kind of a screening program, so it should be prevalent in preclinical stage. Yes, because as you know, I showed you and you watched a slide, a figure that screening is related to preclinical stage, where the disease is not clear and it's not obvious. So for running a screening program, we need a high prevalence of preclinical stage. And another point is natural history understood. Because if we don't know anything about the disease, imagine that you have a strange disease. So if you don't know well the disease, how can we manage the screening program? It's impossible for us. And the next year, it's better that there is long period between first signs and overt disease. So if there is only a short period of time between first signs and overt disease, it's useless for us for running a screening program, because imagine that you can run a screening program, and before you can get the results of a screening program, the overt disease can show their signs and symptoms. So what's the benefits of a screening program? No benefit. So for us, this criteria is related to disease. And what about diagnostic tests? Who can explain for us? Sorry, what was your name?
Chuck Norris.
Oh, Chuck Norris. Yes, Chuck Norris. Thank you very much. And who can explain for us about diagnostic tests? Nobody? So, diagnostic tests should be sensitive. Of course, we are going to speak about sensitivity and specificity today. Yes, congratulations for us. Of course, I think that you learned a lot about sensitivity and specificity before in your first grade, yes? Or no? Nothing about sensitivity and specificity? You have not heard anything about sensitivity and specificity before? No problem, because this is our class. Yes, you are welcome to this class, and it's the best opportunity for us to review these important items. And diagnostic tests should be simple and cheap. Why? Who can guess? Who can guess why our diagnostic tests should be simple and cheap? Why? Because of?
Frequency of
Yes.
performing.
Yes, because of frequency. If our tests frequently repetitive repeats, so it costs more. Yeah. So because of our costs. And could you please name for me a screening program in our country, for example,
About a specific disease.
about some disease? Do you know any screening program in our country?
For polio, previously we had to check it was eradicated from all children.
For polio,
Previously,
no. Yes. Do you know any specific screening program in our country? No? No problem. Of course, your first answer was great. And your name? For me? Yes. Thank you very much. Yes. Of course, you know, for example, in our country, in Iran, we have some screening programs. For example, we have a disease named as PKU, phenylketonuria. Yes? And you know that in our country, when a child is born, we can get a little blood from her organ for testing for some diseases like PKU. Of course, one of them is PKU, another is hypothyroidism. So, with examining and with assessing and with reviewing a simple and a small size of blood for all of Iranian children, yes, we can distinguish the sick and the patients. I mean, the children who have hypothyroidism or the children who have PKU. So it's a kind of a screening test. Of course, the incidence rate of PKU or hypothyroidism is very low. And maybe among a large number of children, only a few have PKU or hypothyroidism disease, yes? But we screen all children in our country because these small numbers are important for us. So, as Nilufar told, the test should be simple because the test should be cheap because we are running it in large numbers in our country. So if it is expensive, it's impossible for us to do it for all children across the country. Yes, so it should be cheap and of course it should be simple. Why? Because our personnel should be able to examine it, should be able to run it. If it's a complicated test, it's impossible to test it for every children. Yes? So the diagnostic test should be simple and cheap. And again, the diagnostic test should be safe. Why? Because we are not going to harm or to run any defect for our patients, for our children. So they should be totally safe for a screening program. And of course it should be acceptable. I mean that people should accept it as a diagnostic test. Yes. And of course it should be reliable. Do you know the meaning of reliability? Yes? What's the meaning of reliability? Yes, go on.
It's correct, and to consider it as a correct diagnosis, like we can accept it.
No. Thank you very much for your comment, but you don't get any points. Yes. Reliability, we are discussing about reliability in a few seconds, in a few minutes late. Congratulations for you to have a lot of things today. Yes. And about diagnosis and treatment. What's the criteria for diagnosis and treatment for screening programs? All facilities should be adequate. Yes, imagine that we are going to examine a person. So the person should be informed about the disease. I mean that it's impossible for us that examine to test some persons and at the end we can tell them, yes, maybe you have a disease. No, it's impossible. You should deal with the problem and you should finish the process and you should answer to all the persons who have come to your screening programs, and you should tell them that if they are patients or they are not patients. So all facilities should be adequate for diagnosis and all